Parkinson's. Now, I want you to imagine that you're playing Dungeons and Dragons with me back in time. Imagine it. And I'm going to tell you the 5 worst monsters that I ever came across and see what you think. I'd be interested. Tell me, do you still see them? I've not seen these fellas for a long time. I don't want to give too much away because I know which dungeons they're from, and I know where you can find them, and you might still come across them. So I don't want to spoil it, but they're so obscure, I think we'll be okay. And if you're a dungeon master, you might want to slip them in. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the image and give you a couple of frames worth of time to consider it, and then I'll tell you what it's called and we'll be able to move on. See what happens. That's what's in front of you. It's a sheep. And somewhere close by there is treasure. It might be coins on the ground, it might be a little treasure chest, it could be a little purse, but there's treasure nearby, and a sheep, and maybe it's got a bell round its neck. And it's an old cave you're in, and there are possibly roots around on the floor, or things growing down the sides of the walls, or things on the ceiling. Just have a look. What are you going to do? There are some clues there as to what's happening. If you've chosen to pick up the coins, you are now in the process of being digested. This is called the sheep in wolf's clothing. In effect, the sheep itself is a tongue. It's a lure. And I like the bait, the coins, the treasure. That's the bait that brings you into the range of the tongue, the sheep. And the foliage or the roots, wherever it is that's around you, are tendrils which are going to wrap you the moment you get anywhere near, and they're going to start digesting you, wrapped in this thing. Well, that's number 1. They're going to get worse as we go along. So I think that was the one I found. Once you've tackled that, you never forget. It doesn't have to be a sheep. It can be anything insignificant. The point is, it's in disguise. But you always have the 3 elements. You always have the bait. You always have something that isn't what it's supposed to be, the tongue. And you always have some sort of natural growths around the area, which is the root system. That's the tendrils. You need those 3 things. And so if you come across, you're deep in a dungeon and a little bunny rabbit hops past, a lot of you go, aha! Let's have a look at number 2. This is a particularly large version of the creature, and the smaller versions are worse. You might look at that and think, I don't like the look of him, but there are some that are like tiny little mites, and they are far, far worse. Trust me. This is Ustilagar. And it's a psychic, I suppose, really mite, or some sort of creature is ideal. But the big ones you can see, what they're trying to do is to attach themselves onto you. The big ones, you know what they're doing. You can see it coming towards you. There it is. Give it a thump. If I saw a big purple-looking haggis floating round in front of me in a dungeon, it would be sword out, clonk. But what if they are the size of pinheads? And what they do, if you get one on you, and it burrows into your brain. It's like, not like blood sucking. It's a psychic thing, but it changes you into something horrible. And as a dungeon master, you can have a lot of fun with that, because this doesn't happen. Maybe it starts tomorrow, where the character does something out of any understanding of what it had been. That's Rolo coming in. It's not an ulcer-gore. Don't worry. So the character says, I am going to talk to that lady. And instead of doing that, he stabs her in the face. And the character, ulcer-gore's got the dog. Oh no, the dog's been obsessed. The character says, the player, what do you make me do that for? But you don't tell them. You just say, well, you know in your head you don't want to do it, but you couldn't stop yourself. Just for a split second, you couldn't stop yourself. Then you might not mention it. You might not mention it for a couple of weeks. They might come for 2 or 3 weeks and nothing's happened. Then it happens again. Ooh. I tell you, you can have a lot of fun with that. You can also lose a lot of friends. So, think on. So you can meet this beautiful, beautiful person. Might be a woman. It certainly was in the late 70s, early 80s. But we've progressed, haven't we? It could be a beautiful man. It could be David Bowie elf. You know, we don't know. We're living in modern times. Modern games for modern times. That's the cry. And you're wondering, aren't you, why I've not shown you a picture of this? Well, because it joins your party, and I'm saying it for a reason. It joins your party. And if you can find a player in your team, party, gang, group, who's prepared to be this, the more the better. If not, you're going to have to do it yourself. But fair enough, you know. But after a few, it could be that night if you want to, if things are getting a bit slow, you want to give them a kick up the pants. You can do it when you want. But during the night, when people are least expecting it, strange things happen, because this isn't a beautiful person. This is Penanggalan. And Penanggalan is a strange, weird thing. And its head comes off. And it has all windpipes and lungs. It's all corroded and grotty. And it does unpleasant things to you in the dead of night. Now, if you want a true experience of a Gary Gygax creation, what I would call a Gygaxian piece of brilliance, the fella at the end of the corridor is it. I've even put his name on there for you for a change. Newbog. Does that tell you anything? I'll tell you it's a goblin. And he looks like any other goblin. Whatever goblins you play with, whatever your goblin figures are in your game, he's one of them. The Japanese goblins, the Oni, he could well fit nicely into something like this, because he deliberately is sent by Gary Gygax and his strange brain to humiliate and disrupt everything you think you know about a dungeon. He's a Nilebog is goblin spelled backwards. And everything he does to annoy you. If you stab him, his damage heals itself. If you cast a spell on him, it bounces back on the person that cast the spell. Everything that you do to him happens to you. Now, he doesn't do anything in return, so he's not going to run towards you with a sword. He's going to appear. hopefully when you've had a lot of trouble with a lot of goblins and they've annoyed you. So when you see a goblin, you go, right, shoot him in the ear hole. When you get an arrow in your own ear hole. Ow! And you don't, I don't play it like the arrow goes towards him and then it swerves. I just go, shot an arrow, oh, ow, oh, ow, oh. How did that happen? Cast a spell. You are a vase of flowers. Wizards of vase of flowers. Not a fumble. This is a sort of bounce back, right? And this is a pure Gary Gygax invention. This is right from day one. This is the start when he was making monsters. A World of Greyhawk. He loved all this sort of stuff. He was a little cheeky monkey. And this is one of his cheekier monkeys. I really recommend him. He's incredible amounts of fun. What do you think? I'll set the scene. You're walking through your dungeon corridors, you've got little torches lit like that. Just floating in the air, any size you like. You don't have to be huge. Could be just a little thing, like a jellyfish. Just happily floating in the air. There he is. Easy to get past. He's not trying to stop you. Doesn't make any aggressive move towards you. Can't read any magic. Can't see any traps. But this is the most fearsome beast of all, with perhaps the most fearsome name of all, dreaded amongst the 5 worlds of Arnak, for this is the Flumph. Somebody once described to me the Flumph as a sort of cuddly mascot and perhaps a post-dystopian steampunk fueled nightmare dream. It is very well mannered and calm and polite, but what it's doing from the moment you appear in wherever it is, the room or the corridor, is it is absorbing and removing all of your mental energies. And however you play Dungeons and Dragons, obviously in the early days, you would have throw 3d6, that's your intelligence. But as a Dungeon Master, you are just quietly to yourself going 1, 2, 3, 4. And every time you get to 10, everybody loses a point of intelligence and a point of wisdom. It's important that it's both. And then you keep going. And someone at some point will panic. But the danger of killing the Flumph, in my humble opinion, because I did this personally, I booby-trapped it. So if you release the Flumph, it's been absorbing all this energy. So let's also add, maybe just not too hard, let's throw a random d6 before we start. That's what it's absorbed up until you arriving. And then there's 5 people in your party. It's not beyond the realms, is it? So it takes them 30 seconds to realise what's happening. 5 people, wisdom and intelligence. So that's 10 a time, times 3, 30. Plus the 6, d6 random, let's say 3. So it's already stored 33 wisdom and intelligence. You kill it, that is going to go straight into the person that killed it. And I say, if your intelligence at the start of a game could only be a maximum of 18, if you throw 3d6, your maximum wisdom intelligence is 18. You're suddenly going to get 36 into your intelligence and 36 into your wisdom. That's going to blow your head. And you are going to come out of that dungeon as a vegetable. So, think on. You might not be afeared of the Flumph. You might have a favourite. I've never liked displacer beasts. But we'll leave that for another day, because at least with a displacer beast, you're pretty sure what the heck it is when you see it down the bottom of the road. Big black panther with big tentacles. So, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of those 5 things. And tell me some of your own that you like or didn't like. Tricky one, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Ta-ra, Chuck. Get me thumbs in. Get me thumbs in.